Hi, everyone. It's Kathy Mills-Chang, Kathy Widener. I'm here to talk to you just a little bit about something that comes across our help desk quite often. And that is, how do I give my patient a super bill? When do I give my patient a super bill? What is a super bill? Does it come from the computer? Does it look more like a routing slip? What I think is important to know is that when you are giving them anything, whether that's a receipt, whether that's something that looks a little bit more like a billing. Some people even provide a 1,500 billing form. I don't love that idea. But what I would suggest is that you make sure you know why you're giving it to them. If the patient has elected to self-pay in your office and they have signed your election to self-pay form and they're not using their insurance, you've given them a good faith estimate through the No Surprises Act, which would be required if they're not using insurance, and they want to be able to submit something themselves. No harm, no foul. Just make sure that the pertinent information is on that receipt or on that form. That means there's a CPT code that's valid. There's diagnosis code that's valid. There is the doctor's NPI or tax ID or both, whatever they require, so that when they submit the bill, it should show that there's a zero balance and the claim is not assigned, so that the patient can either have something applied toward their deductible or they can be reimbursed if that's the case. Now, let's talk about Medicare Advantage in these situations. We know, as of now, the best information that we have right now, that if you are not participating with a Medicare Part C/Advantage plan, where perhaps you have a PPO patient or an HMO patient, you are not involved in their network. I always say, why do you want to put yourself in between the patient and their insurance? You may continue to charge the patient what you would have in Part B for the active treatment. So, and if you're non-participating in Part B, that's probably the limiting fee. So charge the limiting fee during your AT active treatment. After that, just like everybody, you're certainly able to charge up to your actual fee with a properly executed ABN form or whatever else you would use from the payer that you're dealing with. But what I think is extremely important is if you're going to do that, the patient has the right to then submit and try to be reimbursed. But please, please, please make sure that you've checked eligibility, that you've verified, and they are not a private fee-for-service patient. Private fee-for-service simply means that if you accept the patient, you accept their fee and you accept whatever fee schedule and that you would accept assignment. So most of you don't want to do that if you're already non-participating. Likewise, you have to make sure the patient is not a qualified Medicare beneficiary. With Medicare, then Medicaid. These are all things you find out right in your portal when you're verifying, and it will give you everything you need to know. If you need a little help with this and you're not our member, we always sell our time as a consultation on demand. So don't hesitate to come and ask us, and we'll be delighted to help you. We are the Medicare experts.